Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe.
Was that the best heel turn of 2019? I am Quinnell. This is Fakidor, Laurie Blake. Welcome to WrestleTalk, not live. Just WrestleTalk, I guess.
WrestleTalk pre-recorded.
Pretzel Talk?
Pretzel Talk. Pretzel Talk.
Pretzel Talk.
Our new channel
right here.
In which we review
just pretzels.
Knotted baked goods.
We're going to be talking about this week's episode of NXT. That's a notification for Twitch that I forgot to turn off. It's amazing stuff.
Well, hopefully we don't get any more.
Yeah. But anyway, press the like button, give us a subscribe, keep notified on all the videos and all that goodness. And don't get in your super chats because this isn't live.
No.
See, I'm still in that live mindset. I still feel like I've got to say all these things. But anyway, let's talk about NXT. Let's talk about that heel turn that happened. So, this happened at the very, very end of the show. We'll talk about the actual main event match that happened later on, which was the triple threat North American title match between Keith Lee, Dominic Dijakovic, and Roderick Strong.
That was muy bien.
It was great. But spoilers for that match. The end of that match ended with Roddy stealing the victory, essentially. Standing tall, Undisputed Era come out. They're all buddy buds. Yay, we're great. They start beating down on Keith Lee because they're mean people, I guess.
Why not?
They can. They stood tall and were like, hey, we're awesome, holding up their titles. Prophecy's still alive, etc. Out comes Tommaso Ciampa with a crutch to say, hey, remember me? I'm still coming for your NXT Championship, boy. But he is outnumbered 4-1.
Yep.
And they all look pretty good standing in his face. Out comes Johnny Gargano. Ooh, big DIY reunion, which is cool.
They have a little moment where they're like, okay, we're doing this together, fine.
Yep, and then they turn to Undisputed Era and they're standing them off. And then Finn Balor's music hits. Oh, man, and now the odds are getting even here because Roddy's just gone through this huge North American title match. It's basically 3-on-3 at this point. Out comes Balor, walks down to the ring. Gargano and Ciampa kind of separate and let him join in the middle. He kind of looks at both of them, looks at the Undisputed Era. Right, I'm ready. Goes to take his jacket off. As he's taking his jacket off, falls backwards and does a huge Pele kick to Johnny Gargano. What? What's happening? He delivers this Pele kick to Gargano. Gargano goes down. He stands in the corner while the Undisputed Era go ham on Tommaso Ciampa.
Yeah, he just stands there and they all rush. It's really good. It's such good framing as well because he steps in front of them, so he's like on the hard cam side, and in the background you see them like jackals all just like rush Tommaso Ciampa, and like it's a really good shot where they're slightly out of focus, just being like
yeah, and you can't even really see what they're doing. All you know is they are beating the hell out of Tommaso Ciampa, and that's all that matters. All that matters is they are going ham. And Balor just stands there and lets them do it. There's a really nice moment where he and Adam Cole just kind of stare at each other. Cole's just like, okay. And Balor's just there. Just
fine then, all right.
And Balor's just there, do what you want, man.
Then he gets out of the ring and takes his jacket off properly in front of everyone going absolutely nuts in the crowd. And he delivers this running drop kick to Johnny Gargano that is insane.
It's so big.
He just puts him, Johnny's leaning against the barricade on the other side, and he just runs and kicks Johnny through the damn thing into the. Obviously, the crowd is wrestlers.
Yeah, it's just plants.
Into a bunch of plants. But oh my god, it looks so good.
It looked brutal.
Yeah.
It looks so good because obviously like delayed drop kicks from Balor look cool anyway, but this one really felt like it had some like extra venom in it.
It
was
real,
like I'm heel now, I will hurt you.
It was a proper shotgun one. It was
it was great.
There was this bit and then there was a boom.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he picks him up and he takes him to the ramp and he does a sort of inverted, like a stalling
DDT,
a brain buster
pretty
thing.
much. Yeah,
it was more DDT-ish.
Yeah.
Because he does the other one where he does it backwards. Doesn't
yes,
he?
yeah.
It was like that, but a brainbuster kind of thing onto the ramp. It was
Which
horrible.
Great.
And then you're left with Ciampa's down, Keith Lee and Dijak have disapparated or whatever they've done. Johnny is down on the ramp, and in the ring, the Undisputed Era are all doing their hand signal, looking at him, and everyone in the crowd's going, "Do it, go on, do it, do
the thing." They
hands,
turn into Emperor Palpatine. They're just
go
like,
on.
do it.
And then Balor just looks up at them for a second, and there's a moment he's going to do it, and he just goes,
double fingers.
Yeah,
it's great, so cool.
Which obviously the big callback to Prince Devitt and New Japan and Bullet Club and all of that good stuff. All the stuff that made Finn Balor like put Finn Balor on WWE's radar. All the stuff that made them want to sign him and bring him to NXT and turn him into Finn Balor in NXT that got over so much and then went to the main roster, got ruined. But this is the return to form. Mm-hmm. And what an interesting way to signal it as well, because if you watch my news on Thursday, we're recording this on Thursday, but it was coming out Sunday. So if you watch my news on Thursday, I said that like Finn tweeted saying, "I'm back." Mm-hmm. Anderson and AJ both retweeted it, saying like, "What took you so long, Prince?" Mm-hmm. So the big suggestion is obviously that this is the Prince Devitt version of Finn Balor coming back, and it's interesting because when he was saying in his promo last week, "My past has now become my future," everyone was like, "Oh, his return to NXT when he was the champion and he was the longest reigning champion." I think they did a very good job of hiding, of not being like, Balor was a champion in Japan. Balor was like one of the biggest Western names in Japanese wrestling. Blah blah blah. They were just like, Balor in NXT. He had this long title reign. He did all this stuff, won all these things. They buried the lead really well there. And were like, keep that bit of information hidden because. Yeah, it's not his recent past. It's his proper past. Mm-hmm. Like, this is the thing that made his name that we're going back to. And it's so cool.
It's so, so cool. That's the overriding thing from this. This was awesome. And that Pele kick to Gargano was so surprising. And it looked like he almost just like fell over to start with. That the crowd didn't really register what had happened. He delivered the Pele kick and the crowd were like, And then Undisputed Era just started attacking Ciampa. And then when they saw that Balor was just standing there, not doing anything, they were like, "Oh my God, he's turned heel!" Then the crowd like picked up and went mental for it.
But this is what everyone's been crying out for from Finn Balor.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad it happened in NXT. I'm so glad he went back. I'm so glad it's happened there. Because this heel turn on the main roster wouldn't have worked. But the merest suggestion of Finn Balor finally forming a club, even if it's joining somebody else's club and taking over, or it's he gets in opposition to the Undisputed Era and the OC join him for like a one-off NXT match. Imagine AJ Styles going to NXT.
That would be incredible.
If that happens, like, there's so much potential with this stuff. Even if he just stays on his own, but like it's just that is the right way to frame it. If not just like Finn Balor the man turns on his own and there's no like hint of him forming a unit or anything like that. Putting it in the context of he could join Undisputed Era, he might form a faction. So good. So good. And yeah, just that lasting image of him doing the double guns and all that. Obviously, it's an amazing throwback to the New Japan stuff. And it, like you said before, it just really solidifies that's the character we're getting. That heel Balor, because we haven't seen heel Finn Balor in WWE at all. He's never been heel. Not since his NXT days, not on the main roster. He's been smiling Finn Balor.
He's been smiling Finn Balor or Demon Finn Balor, and that's it. So now we're going to get actual heel Finn Balor in NXT. And like you said, I'm so happy this happened in NXT. Heel Balor on the main roster would have got maybe a 3-week push, and then he'd just be another guy.
Yeah.
Heel Finn Balor in NXT feels like he could completely change the landscape of NXT. Yeah. And I think this was a very good move because there's a lack of top heels in NXT right now. We've got the Undisputed Era.
They're too over.
And Dominic Dijakovic, I guess. Like
the problem with Undisputed Era is that they are heels, but they're too over.
Yeah.
And they just, everything they do just comes across as, that was great.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Wasn't that great?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Finn Balor can at least add some drama to that. Like even if they see, like they teased here that he's looking at Adam Cole as a semi sign of respect and also a semi sort of like, I'm still interested in that. That's what I came here for.
Yeah.
You you've got to imagine that like his return was still just like saying, I want that and I'm here and that's what I've come for. So like, and maybe part of the wanting the belt is also wanting the group.
Yeah.
Maybe Adam Cole gets kicked out of the Bullet Club again. You know
what I mean?
God.
Imagine that. Yeah. Because that's the thing. They didn't overtly say Balor's part of the Undisputed Era. Now,
no.
There was a very distinct split between them. Undisputed Era were in the ring doing their, hand pose thing. And then Balor was on the ramp, did his finger guns and walked off. So he didn't like join Undisputed Era.
No.
But there's still a little tease of them just being like, they acknowledge each other.
Mm-hmm.
So it might just be, ships passing in the night kind of deal. Balor goes on to other things. There's still that little plate spinning. It could just be Balor by himself. It could be a Balor doing a new faction. There's all these different little plates that are spinning, and I don't know what's going to happen. And I'm really sad that I'm not going to be able to watch NXT early next week because I'm doing AEW instead.
Oh yeah.
I really want to see what happens next week.
So obviously Finn Balor was your Finn Balor guy for
My
NXT.
guy.
You were like, you were like so excited when he came back, and I was like, yeah, Finn Balor coming back is really cool, and obviously a really big deal. I'm way more excited now.
Same.
I'm super interested.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I never really saw heel Finn Balor because I wasn't really aware of the whole New Japan side of things before I saw him in NXT. So I've seen I've gone back and watched clips and stuff of him from his heel New Japan times, but I've never really properly seen heel Finn Balor before, and I'm so excited for it because he just seems really bloody cool.
Yeah.
If
he keeps shotgun drop kicking people through things, I'm into that, and I'll watch that any day of the week.
I like it a lot, and I think it's even though he delivered 3 moves in that, the Pele kick, the drop kick, and the brainbuster, all of them seem like he had an entirely different attitude and venom behind it. Yeah, if he has that kind of impact behind the entire rest of his moveset. Yes, please.
Well, yeah, because I guess that's the thing with Finn as well. Like NXT Finn and main roster Finn suffered a little bit of 5 moves of doom at times. Like he's got some very good, cool moves, but he does just do the big penalty kick on the apron,
Sling blade,
the Tope con Hilo. He does Sling blade, shotgun drop kick into the corner, coup de grace, and we're out. But so it's nice to see new stuff being added in, and hopefully we get a bit more kind of, because I think the pace of NXT since Finn Balor's days picked up, and it's much more people do. Like you got Keith Lee and Dominic Dijakovic going out there and doing insane things week on week. God. So if Balor has upped his game to hang with the rest of the NXT guys, and they're doing what they've upped their game to be on TV. I cannot wait to see
it's genuinely good. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
So intrigued by the story now as well of what will happen. Because I think NXT has struggled a little bit last few weeks after that first show, which they built up to not the first show, the third show, the one that went up against AEW, because it's been 2 weeks building up to that. Did that, and then they've been trying to rebuild the brand from there. And some weeks, not a lot's happened, and it's all been sort of built to something bigger. Yeah, this feels like the big statement. Here's a direction. There was a lot of I felt like this episode of the show was there's direction for this bit of the division. There's a direction in this match. There's direction here for this person, and boom, here is the biggest direction you're going to get of this is the most intriguing thing happening now. What is Finn Balor going to do? Is he going to face Johnny Gargano? Is he going to face Tommaso Ciampa? Is he going to face Adam Cole? There's so many possibilities.
Yeah. And if we just look at where the story's going right now, if this is building to TakeOver War Games, it looks like we might be getting a Tommaso Ciampa versus Adam Cole match. It looks like we might be getting a Finn Balor versus Johnny Gargano match. We've got potentially a female War Games with some stuff that was set up on this episode as well. Just those 3 matches alone, I'm like, oh my god, yes. That could be one of the best cards we've seen on a TakeOver ever. And that is insane when you think of the quality of takeovers that we've had. And this might be the best one. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
I can't wait to see what they pull out at TakeOver as well. In terms of just they must be having if the TV show is getting this big now, they must have something massive for the pay-per-view. Surely,
you'd hope.
Triple H loves an escalation. Everyone comes out in a Terminator mask.
Oh yes,
everyone's got a motorbike.
Perfect. Everyone comes out on a quad bike.
Everyone comes out on a custom motorbike.
Let's get on to the main portion of the show, shall we?
Yep.
So this episode opened up with Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair, which has been set up in the last couple weeks. Really, really hot crowd for both competitors. As soon as they came out, they were chanting Rhea. Then when Bianca came out, they were chanting EST. Crowd was super hot throughout the whole night, really. But this match was basically about who's stronger. So it starts off with them just trying to do collar and elbow tie-ups and trying to push each other over. And then
but did a really good wrist lock spot where they were both maintaining wrist control. lol. And then and then there was just a really good like Bianca Belair did a pop up from the mat and then like turned it around. Then Rhea did sort of like ended up forcing her to roll through, and then her wrists ended up upside down, and it was like, oh, that looks really painful.
Then they had a really cool spot where both of them were trying to suplex each other. They kept fighting back and forth as to who could get the suplex on. Rhea eventually got one. Then after a couple more minutes, Bianca came back and then did her own one as well. It was like, oh, it's just like one-upsmanship the whole match. There wasn't really like a person that took control very early. It was very kind of back and forth early. During the ad break, Bianca Belair actually did take control. She was very much working the heel here. Like she was very much kind of getting her in the ropes and like not breaking holds until the 5 count on the rest 5 counts.
She was doing a very slow, methodical breakdown for the in the ad breaks.
Yes, but it was never boring.
No,
it was still very fun to watch.
And then they timed it perfectly as well because it comes back from the ad break and Ripley fires back. She hits a clothesline or something, and then it
was a big boot out of midair. Like
so
Bianca went for a leapfrog, and she was like, "Nope."
No, so she swung for the clothesline. So she pushes Bianca off, runs in for the clothesline. Bianca ducks, hits the ropes, comes back, leapfrog, hits the ropes, comes back. Belair goes for another leapfrog, but Ripley just goes, "Nope,
absolutely not."
Just dunks her out of the air.
It was so
amazing.
good.
People went nuts for it.
Yeah, it looked brutal. It was so cool. Ripley came back and hit some more offense, but just as it looked like she was closing in on a win, out comes Io Shirai, who came to the outside as Rhea Ripley was on the outside. She comes in and does a tiger feint kick on like the apron. So she comes in between the apron and the bottom rope and just does a tiger feint kick onto Rhea Ripley. And then she gets her back inside and ducks down behind the side so the ref can't see her. Bianca hits a spear, and I was like, oh, well, match over, Io Shirai. And then Rhea kicked out. I was like, oh, whoa, okay. I did not see that one coming a mile off. And then after that, Io Shirai gets back on the apron trying to run distraction again. Out comes Candice LeRae, comes out and drags Shirai off and makes sure she can't run interference. That allows Rhea to hit a half pump handle bomb thing.
The Riptide.
That one. And get the win.
Yeah.
Which was cool.
Yep.
Really, really fun match. And that's got to be building to like either a fatal 4-way between these 4 or like a female War Games match.
Yeah.
You'd think.
I feel like it's got to be the female War Games. I feel like you could put Io and Bianca in with Shayna and the Horsewomen, and then you could have Candice and Rhea start to gather people up.
Yeah.
Like Mia Yims and that.
Yeah.
For this War Games match.
Maybe Nox and Kai.
Yeah,
maybe.
Nox and Kai, depending on what happens next week. Like I think that there's a lot of potential here for stuff to happen, and I felt like this was obviously the right decision, but it felt very much about the women's division.
Yes,
even though like we should be positioning Ripley to be the big challenger for Shayna Baszler at some point, but maybe we do that at the next takeover rather than at War Games.
Yes, still. I said it last week and I'll say it again. Bloody love the women's division in NXT right now.
Yeah. So
cool. So many plate spinning, so many like interconnecting rivalries and all trying to vie for that NXT Women's Championship. I love it. I thought this was great. Kathy Kelly was backstage with Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate outside. Pete Dunne said that receipts coming for Damian Priest.
Yeah. After Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne was like, well, he won last week. And he was like, yeah, but he went low, mate. And Dunne just goes, no excuses. And then he said, yeah, receipts coming for Damian Priest. And then Kathy says, well, you tried to break Killian Dane's fingers, so have you got anything to say about Killian Dane? He goes, I don't care about Killian Dane. Don't care about Killian Dane, you're not my mum.
And then walks off. And Tyler Bates there's like, and then they walk off together being all happy. It was great. We get a video package for Tommaso Ciampa and his like recovery journey, looking like an absolute monster, as he always does whenever he's working out. I'm like, good God, you man. He's awesome. I love Ciampa.
It was a great little promo package.
It was a great promo package, yeah. Just showing his entire injury, his thought process, him doing a little voiceover over the top, him showing him working out, and then his return against Adam Cole. It was awesome.
We're then showing Tyler Bate in the crowd, so he's getting involved in this next match, isn't he?
Almost
Matt
certainly.
Riddle versus Cameron Grimes.
And his hat.
Terrible.
2-on-1 handicap match.
Terrible.
2-on-1 hattie cap match.
Terrible. Dreadful hat.
I think
this was wicked. Though.
This was so
actually
cool.
Like this was actually the Cameron Grimes match that was needed.
Yes,
like,
very much so.
This was the match that was like nothing quite gelled this way in the breakout tournament. Everything since then's been like a weird squash with either a distraction or just like he's just got it because of the cave in, which is what they've now named the double stomp.
Yep. Which is a cool name. It
is a cool name. But this was this match put him over more than any of that.
Oh, it was so good.
Losing to Matt Riddle here put him over far more than any of that stuff. It was so much good stuff in this match.
And it started really well. I think the commentary did a really great job of saying, Cameron Grimes always tries to get that early, quick win. Probably going to try the same here with Matt Riddle, like as he was making his entrance. And they were saying, and don't forget as well, Matt Riddle's no stranger to that. He beat Cassius Ohno in 6 seconds. Yeah. So we can see a really hot start here. Bell rings immediately. Grimes goes for the double stomp and Riddle rolls out the way. And I was like, that's such a good moment for the commentary to put that over in your mind, and then that thing happens.
But then Riddle turns it around and tries to go for the final flash as well. And then Grimes dodges. It was really smart stuff.
Exactly, yeah.
They then had there was a bit where Riddle hits the jackhammer.
Oh, that was so great.
He just hits So they are building that match.
Yes, they are.
They absolutely are building that match.
Especially from what the commentary said straight afterwards as well, because the crowd started chanting, Riddle, 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 the same cadence as the Goldberg chant. He hits a jackhammer, and then the commentary put over is like, I remember a Hall of Famer using that move. Can't think who it is right now, though. They're really putting over this Riddle-Goldberg stuff, which is really, really great. I don't know whether that's ever actually going to pay off or whether that's just like an Easter egg for fans.
No.
I don't know, but
I'm hoping it will pay off.
Yeah, that would be so good. Imagine if Goldberg goes to NXT.
Yeah, for a takeover. That would be amazing.
That would be incredible.
Yeah, and then there was bits where like Riddle just did like that crazy level of offense that he sometimes does, where he did a so he hit like a bunch of kicks and then running forearms and exploder, then the backflip into the Broton thing.
Yep.
He did a whole sequence where he the finish was amazing, where he popped up. Cameron Grimes goes for the double stomp and he pops him up into a powerbomb. Powerbombs him, flips him over, knees him in the face, and then does the Bro Derek.
That's such a weird name.
Yeah. Doesn't mind though, does he?
No.
But equally, I think Cameron Grimes had a lot of that same sort of offense where they did a lot of like you counter something into something crazy. So there was a bit where he goes for a kick when Riddle's on his knees. Riddle ducks the kick. So as Grimes turns around, he backflips into a German super. So he backflips onto the back of Riddle, catches him, and just German suplexes him.
Oh, it was so good. It's like, where did that come from? He's literally standing there, leaps over him. As he lands, he's grabbing him, then lifts him up in like a deadlift position, turns around, and then delivers the German. It's like, whoa, Cameron Grimes, you're really, really good.
Yeah, and I did a similar thing earlier where he popped him up again for the powerbomb, but Grimes flipped out off the top, landed, forearm, knee strike, and then back into another kick or something, and then a Spanish fly. That was a dodge and then a super kick, and then he hit like a weird sort of tilting.
It's like a
power slam,
Spanish fly. Yeah, I just said,
which is something that Jeff Cobb does.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah. And my notes literally just go, floating bro countered, Jesus F word, what just happened? So many spots, move after move after move after move. I can't keep up. It was so quick, so many spots. Crowd were hot for it the whole way through. And then, that ending sequence that you mentioned where Riddle picks up the win. Awesome match. Put over Grimes, put over Riddle still, which is good because he's one of their top stars. It was awesome. Then after the match, Riddle's kind of outside celebrating, doing some fist bumps, goes for a fist bump on Grimes. Grimes goes, no, get out of him. I don't want to fist bump you. Get out of here. So instead, he fist bumps Tyler Bate, who's standing in that corner, and then he walks away.
I think Tyler Bate does a really good job in the 2 sections he's in, because he's shown in the Riddle gives him a fist bump at the beginning and at the end.
Yes.
Bate does a really good job of seeming like a fan.
It
was like when he got the fist bump off Riddle the first time, he was like, fist bump from Matt Riddle.
Wow.
Oh, great.
And then, so he does another fist bump to Tyler Bate and he walks away. Bate turns around to Cameron Grimes. She's like, dude, just do a fist bump. It's not that hard. Like, it's right. Just do one, mate. And Grimes is like, go away. And he pushes Bate and he goes up the steps, grabs his hat, comes back down towards that corner, and Bate does that fake out punch he does. So he lifts the one up and then boom, punches with the other one.
Bip and bop?
Sure.
Something like that.
Yeah. The nick and knack.
Yeah, I don't know.
Kit and cat, I don't know. So he does that fake out punch and knocks him out, and he just lies down on the ground. Everyone's like, hey, Tyler Bate. Woohoo!
Tyler Bate.
So then that sets up next week. It's going to be Cameron Grimes versus Tyler Bate.
Awesome.
Can't wait for that. I'm honestly kind of, as much as I love Tyler Bate, I want Grimes to win that one in another really, really good match.
Yeah.
So I want Grimes to, have an amazing match like he did with Riddle here, but eventually go over in that match. And I think that will kind of cement him at the level he needs to be. I think that would be great. We get a quick side screen promo from Dijak. We see him warming up. Dijakovic. Not Dijakovic. It's a weird name. So he's warming up backstage for his main event match later. He does a quick side thing saying, I'm going to win. Promise my family I'll win the title. Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to win. Then we get a really interesting match announcement from William Regal, who said it's Tegan Nox versus and Dakota Kai, versus Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke. I can talk. With the winner facing the Kabuki Warriors for the women's tag team titles on next week's NXT.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I feel like it was a really good announcement, but so little was made of it in the sense that it's like Asuka and Kairi Sane are going back to NXT for an episode.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
That felt like a bigger deal.
Yeah.
Like that felt like an announcement they should have probably done live in like, because this was a clip from the YouTube channel or something.
Yeah.
This feels like an announcement they should have done at the beginning of at the end of the match. He should have come out and said, well, for that victory, I'm going to give you a shot at.
Ooh, that's cool. Yeah.
And then they come up on the screen.
Asuka and Kairi Sane pop up on the screen. Yeah. That would have been great. So yeah, that match is coming up later on tonight. Super stoked. We then get the Forgotten Sons versus Breezango, and it should have been Kushida, but he got injured. He's got a fractured wrist, I believe, so he's out for like a month. So then they've got a mystery partner for this 6-man tag match. And it's revealed to be, first, Breezango come out, Forgotten Sons come out. Breezango come out as airline pilots this time.
Well, they come out as Top Gun, don't they?
Yeah, it's Top Gun, basically. Sure. I'm kind of over
I'm
this.
not into it. I
just
don't like it.
It's just not great.
It's too silly.
But then they get their partner revealed to be Asaya Swerve Scott instead of Kushida, which is really cool. Crowd were really into him. As soon as he got announced, they were like, Swerve, we love him, after his match with Roddy Strong that he had that was really bloody good.
Considering he's had 2 losses.
Exactly,
on his NXT TV time.
Yeah.
He's surprisingly really over.
It's almost as if you have really good matches, it's a way to get you over or something.
True, yeah.
Who'd have thunk it? Fandango tears off his vest. It starts with Jackson Riker being really strong, and then Breeze and Swerve try to get in and try to duel him. They're like, nope, can't do that. So they tag in Fandango. Fandango tears off his vest as he gets ready for stuff, and then he does that one spot where he nearly falls over for like 3 minutes. He's like windmilling his arms, and then he just starts gyrating his hips, and then does a leg drop. And then they go to an ad break. It was cool, whatever.
In the commercial break, Jackson Riker hits a huge uranagi onto the apron on Tyler Breeze. And then you come back and the Suns are in control.
Yes.
And then this was all built around, again, the hot tag spot. But then I think it actually had a really interesting breakdown, because it's like a hot tag spot, and I think that Breeze tags in Dango.
He does.
Dango runs wild, but he can't get it done. So he tags in Swerve, and Swerve manages to take all of them down. So like they start beating on Isaiah, and then he does like a roll up to one of the Forgotten Sons. They kick out immediately, so he rolls forward again and hits a leaping flatliner onto the other one.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
So cool.
He then chucks them all out of the ring. He goes up onto the apron, onto the turnbuckle to try and do a move. Riker jumps up onto the apron. You're like, oh, this is going to end really badly. He manages to fight him off for a second, hits him, and he rocks himself back onto the ropes. So he just does a moonsault off Jackson Riker's chest onto Blake and Cutler on the outside.
Oh, it was so cool, because honestly, there's not much difference between that move and just going off the top rope and doing a moonsault, but it just looks so cool. It's like you're moonsaulting off a guy's chest. Yeah. It's awesome. It was really like creative, really fun.
But it was all built around putting him over, I think. This whole match was like, we're going to feed 5 guys to you now and give you the sort of like shine of that. And he came off so well with the big Fosbury flop spot as well over the top rope. He just looked awesome in this match. And
he really did.
I really do think he's going to be a massive star in NXT.
I hope so.
If they push him right, I think he's going to be huge, because he's already incredibly over.
Yes.
And 2, he's clearly so talented and so good, and has really innovative offense. I think it's that kind of he just does stuff that makes you go, huh? Whoa.
Gravity? Question mark. Yeah. Swerve managed to get the win as well, which is really good. Really puts him over.
Yeah.
thumbs up all round. We get another side screen promo from Roddy Strong. He's backstage warming up with Undisputed Era. He says, I'm going to win.
It put me in Regal was trying to mess me up with a match with these two big goofs.
Yeah.
I like heel Roddy Strong because he's so corny.
He's so cocky.
Yeah.
I love him so much. He's great. We then get Leo Rush comes out, NXT Cruiserweight Champion Leo Rush. He enters, massive pop. Crowd is so into Leo Rush. Hot damn. We go straight into an ad break, and afterwards he's on commentary for the next match. But we do get a quick promo by Killian Dane first, who's out almost, harking back to the Sanity days. He's out by this fire on the outside. You know the ones they do in the little
He's out in an alley
tins.
by a bin, yeah.
Yeah, that thing. And he's standing by the fire, and he says, Pete Dunne tried to break his fingers, so he's going to break him.
But Pete Dunne doesn't care about you.
I don't care about Killian Dane.
Don't care about Killian Dane.
But then we get the next match with Leo Rush and commentary, which is Angel Garza versus Gentleman Jack Gallagher.
Whoa.
My God, I've missed Jack Gallagher. He's so fun.
I was expecting more Jack Gallagher in this match.
Me too. Yeah.
It was actually still really good and really, really fun. I was just expecting a bit more offense from him.
Yes, I agree.
Because this was all about Garza, really. And it was actually put him over really strong. I think he's fantastic also.
He is.
They did a bit really early on where he goes to take his trousers off, gets caught, and Jack then tries to sort of whip him with it. And he obviously just steps out of his trousers, and Jack's left holding them, and he eats a super kick. It was all really smart, fun stuff. And I think
it was just little things at the start, like Gallagher went for a handshake, and Garza just refused the handshake to start with. And then later on, Gallagher gets him in a wrist lock and just mimes shaking his hand with him while he's got control of his wrist. Oh, it's just really funny.
Yeah.
Innovative.
Well, they were clearly having a good laugh here. There was a point where Gallagher was on the outside and looks like Garza's going to go for the suicide dive. He runs at the ropes and Gallagher goes down into the apron to hide, just ducks right behind it. So Garza just slides in and just goes on his head. It's just really
it's just amazing,
stuff.
Yeah. And then Gallagher did repeated crucifix pins, one after the other after the
teddy
other.
Bear rolls,
yeah. Oh, it was just so fun to watch. It was amazing. He did a huge monkey flip to Gallagher over the top rope. This really over the top spot. There's a power bomb that got counted into a headbutt from Gallagher, which looked amazing.
Yeah, this was the finale, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Power bomb counted into the headbutt. He goes for a dive in the corner, misses, and then Garza hits the Kip Brana from the
the moonsault
thingy that Aleister Black does. And that was the finish.
That one. Cool. Really like this match.
It was quick. It was fun. It puts over the Garza character really well in the fact that he's kind of cocky and kind of silly, but clearly incredibly talented.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Yeah, and it positions Garza as a next challenger for Leo Rush, potentially.
Yeah, well, he gets up on the apron and he gets up on the turnbuckle. I keep saying apron instead of turnbuckle. Gets up on the turnbuckle and starts miming the belt at Leo. And Leo's like, oh, you want this, do you? On commentary. So he gets up and starts having a off-mic shouting match with Garza.
Yeah.
I'd really like to see that match.
Yes, please.
I'd also really like to see Angel Garza as the Cruiserweight Champion.
Yeah, I'll be well into it.
It's too early for Leo Rush to lose the belt, obviously, but...
Yes.
I think Angel Garza could be a really fun champion.
I think at some point, I'd really like to see him win. We then get the aforementioned match of Team Kick versus the Horsewomen, Nox and Kai versus Shafir and Duke. And obviously with the stipulation that they're going to be facing Kabuki Warriors next week, this match was very quick. It starts off with Duke coming out pretty hot. She gets a massive big boot onto Dakota Kai almost immediately. And then my next note is that Nox wins with a Shining Wizard.
Yeah.
So, there wasn't much in between. Duke ran hot for a little bit.
Yeah. Kai hit a scorpion kick that gave her the ability to tag in Tegan. Tegan hits 2 choke slams, the big diving crossbody. Kai comes in and pump kicks Shafir's head off and takes her out of the ring, which gives Nox enough room to hit the shiniest wizard, and it's all over.
Yeah.
What I liked about this, though, it was really cool to see Team Kick come out together to the same music.
Yep.
And you actually see that their entrances match up.
Yes.
It was they've been doing 2 halves of the same entrance the whole time, because they both got on the apron and did that thing, but they both just did their normal entrance and then end up running back to back, and it's oh, okay.
Yeah. They're literally Just two halves of the same
I
whole.
wonder if you overlaid their entrances from before like, with like a transparency or something, you'd see that it matched up perfectly.
That would be incredible. That would be amazing. And then we get the Kabuki Warriors appear on the Titantron.
I loved this.
They come in and they cut a promo on both of them. They initially started talking some Japanese to start with. I love the new look of both of them, of the Kabuki Warriors. Asuka with her green kind of face paint that she's got, obviously, to do with the green mist. And now Kairi Sane's starting to get some face paint as well around her eyes and things like that. They look awesome. And I've never seen heel Kairi Sane before.
Yeah.
So to see her just being like, you guys don't stand a chance and all that stuff, I'm like, this is rad. This is so cool.
Yeah.
I'm really, really excited for the match next week.
Yeah, I enjoyed heel Kairi Sane in the match where they won the belts, like when she did like the marching spot and the poke in the eyes. That was funny. It was funny playing with the cutesy side of the character and making that mean.
Yes,
but here I was like, oh no, it's really cool. She's like crazed Japanese schoolgirl now. Yeah. It's like she's just this horrible little giggle that she's doing the whole time. I think Asuka and Kairi Sane together as a pairing is really gelling now, and like it's not just you're two Japanese people so we put you together. They actually feel like a tag team with a purpose, and I think work really nicely. I'm really excited for this match. Like I think it's gonna be awesome.
So pumped, and I'd be more pumped if I was actually reviewing it next week.
It's one of those things where it's like. It's just weird that they're not making a bigger deal of the fact that Asuka and Kairi Sane are returning to NXT.
Two former NXT women's champions.
Yeah, probably because it's a bit sad, really, that Asuka's coming back, and it's like, do you remember what happened? You were undefeated when you were here last time.
Yeah.
So but she can come back, and if she wins the match when she comes back,
still undefeated in NXT.
Still undefeated in NXT. So.
Undefeated. We then get a backstage promo from Keith Lee, who's warming up, and he says, I'm going to win. Same as the others, really. We then get confirmations of two matches, which is the Tyler Bate versus Cameron Grimes match and the Team Kick versus Kabuki Warriors match next week. And then we get...
we've also got... They also said that Io Shirai and Candice LeRae will face off next week.
Oh, that's right.
What Kathy Kelly said as well.
Yes. And then we get the main event.
I can't believe this match, honestly.
Keith Lee versus Dominik Dijakovic versus Roderick Strong for the North American title. My first note is, God, Roddy is such a cocky little S-word. I love him.
I love the bit, so when they're doing the introductions and they're saying this first challenger, this competitor, and the champion, Roddy does this like huge pop for him, his own name.
Yeah.
And there's just this brief moment where he just goes, he's like, yeah, me!
Yeah.
Like,
and he looks at the other two and he's like, uh-oh.
Yeah, he's just got a real, like, for a second, then he goes back to being really cocky. And it's like, that was just really good little character work of like, yeah, I'm awesome. Yeah, okay.
I'm not scared. You're scared. Yeah, it was amazing.
This
match was incredible.
Yeah, it had me. I was just grinning from ear to ear
Same.
watching this. I was genuinely like, this is like some of the best NXT I've ever seen. It was. If you think how good the Keith Lee Dijak matches have been in general.
Yeah.
I think the inclusion of Roderick Strong here actually managed to take it to a new level because it just it managed to tell this extra layer to the story of like they were just trying to have their match and Roddy was just being a pest.
He was just getting in the way.
But I just thought it was told so well. Like for the whole first bit, Lee is in control, and every time Roddy comes in the ring, he just does something.
It's like,
and Roddy's
no.
like, no, goodbye now.
Yeah.
There was a bit where like they were. Lee just hits this huge pop-up slam really early on. Roddy jumps back in and he tries to attack Lee, who just shrugs him off and pushes him out of the ring. Then it's like we're going into the break immediately, and he's already going like Grizzly Magnum. And it's like, what else are they going to do in the TV bit? Like,
I know. And there was one bit in the outbreak that I absolutely loved, where again, Dijakovic was in the corner, Lee was in control. Roddy came back in to try and start stuff. He was doing some like forearms to Lee, and Lee was kind of like basically no selling it, and then just went. One punch and Roddy just went straight out the ring. It was so good. I wish I had actually seen that not in the ad break with the sound. But Roddy got
a bit more into the match after Lee sort of put Dijak on the top rope and it looked like he was going for a superplex. So Roddy runs in and pushes Lee over the side. Then he hits his own superplex. Then Lee comes back in, starts beating up Roddy. Roddy gets knocked down. Dijak does time to fly on Lee, just chucking him on top of Roddy.
Unbelievable.
There are so many spots in this match. It's like it's almost impossible to go through. But it's just
Genuinely, it is so hard to go through
the bit
all
where
of them.
Dijak goes for the cannonball off the apron, and
Right.
he just goes, "Okay, well, I've caught you now."
Yeah.
Picks him up to go for the powerbomb onto the apron. Roddy then hits the running baseball, the wrecking ball drop kick, knocking them both over.
Yep.
That, like,
It's so unique. And then, this next spot, the Tower of Doom spot,
oh my
was
Lord.
unreal. So you had Dijak and Roddy were on the top turnbuckle. Looked like Dijak was going to go for a superplex of some description. Keith Lee comes in and is going to go for the powerbomb onto Dijak. Standard Tower of Doom stuff. The difference is, he picks up Dijak, Roddy's still on the turnbuckle, so then Dijak picks him up and holds him in a delayed position in the Tower of Doom, and then they all collapse in. It looked pretty dangerous, honestly. Lee comes down and powerbombs, and he almost hits like a brainbuster onto Roddy, and Lee almost falls out of the ring. He hits like his head on the ropes as he comes down.
Yeah.
Oh, it looked insane. It looked ridiculous.
Such strength.
Yeah.
That then leads to Roddy doing an Olympic slam to
Yeah.
Lee, which is just
Yeah.
and also the height that they got off that, which got quite a near fall, but Lee managed to sort of pop him up into the air to get out of it. Somehow they all end up on the outside, and there's a moment at which Lee basically chucks Roddy. He lands on Dijak, who hits the Feast Your Eyes. As Roddy lands off the knee, Lee just pounces him out of the way. They look at each other. There's this amazing standoff moment, like everyone holds their breath for a second, and Dijak goes, "Should we get back in the ring?" And they both get back in the ring, and
So
everyone's
good.
just going, "Oh my god!"
It was literally because how that started was Roddy went for another baseball dropkick, and they both caught him on the outside.
Yeah.
Together they caught him, and they were like, "Huh, we have a Roddy now." So then, yeah, that's when like Lee just chucked him onto Dijak, who did that whole spot. And then yeah, the crowd was going mental. They would just look at each other and go, "Right, in the ring, let's finish this." They went in, and then they had their match. You know, they had the Lee Dijak match. There was a huge avalanche choke bomb from Dijak to Lee that looked like it was going to be, you know, the end. Huge one for a near fall. And then I just wrote, "This is amazing." There was a Frosby flop onto Strong, who Dijak went for the flop onto Lee. Lee dived in the ring as he was in the air, and he ended up hitting Strong instead, who had just got up from all the abuse from before. Oh, it was so good. Lee rolled in the ring, and then Keith Lee hit a tope con hilo. How?
Yeah.
How do you do that? Oh, he's so good.
That was when the roof started coming off the place,
Yeah.
because people were just like, I honestly cannot believe this, and I need to vocalize it in 3 syllables.
Yeah.
Holy S.
Holy S word, man. And then Lee manages to get control of Dijak again. He goes for a massive powerbomb from the second rope, hits it, but then immediately Roderick Strong comes back in, hits his, you know, drop the kick thing that he does.
Sick kick.
Is that what it's called? Yeah, that one. Hits
It's like a running knee sick kick he does here.
Yeah.
basically.
And he does that onto Lee, who's just sat down off the powerbomb, immediately comes in, kicks him in the face, and gets the 3 count for the win. So Strong technically kind of stole the victory without stealing the victory.
Yeah.
Makes Strong look great, makes Lee and Dijak look awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, what a match.
Well, Nigel
what a
and
match.
Nigel did a very good job here of like putting over what Roddy did as well as as that commentator. He said like Roddy wore them down in the beginning, and then he got out of the way and let them tucker themselves out, and then he came in and struck when the moment was right. And
Yeah,
it's like that's a really good way of framing that to keep Roddy seeming good. Like Roddy did seem good in this match, but also as the smaller guy was obviously going to be fodder for the chucking around here.
Yeah.
I love the fact that this it was the perfect story to tell, and it's obviously the bad blood between 2 people is a classic triple threat statement. Like it's a classic structure of that match. But here it felt really pertinent, and it really felt like these 2 guys looked as if they acted as if Roddy wasn't anywhere on their level, and it wasn't even about that belt. It was about the fact that they had to finish what they had to do.
Yeah.
Like winning over Dijak or winning over Lee was more important to both of them than ever beating Roddy. Like and I loved it. It told that story so brilliantly, and I'm hoping that their internal feud, which has now gone to 3 no contests, like 3 draws essentially, and like is tied overall in terms of who's won as well. So they've had 5 matches that they've been involved in, and only 2 have come that actually had a defined winner.
Yeah.
So there's still a third match to have here to at least decide who's the best.
Yeah. Which, again, I'm fingers crossed. I really want that to be on a takeover.
That's got to be the PWG match, right? That's got to be
Right.
the full.
That's got to be
full
everything,
PWG match,
right?
yeah.
And hopefully that's a takeover War Games. Pretty pleased. That would be amazing. Yeah, and then we had the angle that we spoke about before with the Balor heel turn to end off the show.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. Overall, what a show.
Yeah.
I thought this was fantastic. There was so much meaningful build to a lot of feuds, loads of plates spinning. All of the in-ring action was, I'd say, great or better.
Yeah.
And then some of the top moments in NXT were like the Balor heel turn and that triple threat match. This is pretty much as good as it gets for a weekly episode of a show. I thought it was awesome. 5 out of 5 for me.
Like we said, I think 5 out of 5 as well. I think like last week when we said, you know, the show felt too much like it was going and next week.
And next week you can have
and
this
next
thing.
week you can have this thing. And it was like there was build, but it was all to the idea of more exciting build next week. Whereas this week was build, but it all felt going like it's going to go somewhere very soon, and it was all exciting build. Like a Balor heel turn is build, sure, but what like leads to so many options. It's not just like it leads to this match this week, and obviously the payoff this week of the triple threat match that was set up in the build last week is the most tantalizing thing. It was the best match on the show. It was an unbelievable finale to NXT, especially when you then were like, oh, and now here's the crescendo bit. Not only did you just see that match, but here's like this thing and Ciampa and Johnny, and they're together again. And oh, wait, Finn Balor's turned heel. Oh my God, what's happening? Is he joining the Undisputed Era? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how. Like, I know how AEW ended, and we can probably spoil it here because we're a few days later.
It's Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, so, like, I don't know how that could even match up.
Yeah,
You know,
I
like,
know.
you've gone to, like, a TV time limit draw, which is a very good way of protecting 2 people, but compared to what happened on NXT, it pales in comparison.
Right. Yeah, this was really bloody good.
Big win for
I'm
NXT this week in my book.
so excited for what's to come on NXT next. And I guess that's the point, is I really want to watch more.
Yeah.
Can't do really much higher
Well,
praise than that.
You can't have higher praise than that, and
Yeah.
it's made me so excited for next week. Like the matches they've announced for next week: Cameron Grimes versus Tyler Bate.
Yes, please.
After Cameron Grimes this week, can't wait to see Tyler Bate return to NXT. Big fan of Io Shirai versus Candice LeRae.
Again.
They're incredibly good
Awesome.
together. The Kabuki Warriors, the return of Asuka and Kairi Sane to NXT versus Team Kick, who have just made their returns as well. That is going to be amazing. And then hopefully all of the fallout of all these stories.
Yeah.
I just think it's going to be immense.
Yeah. We've got, how long have we got? We have got 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks until TakeOver War Games. I'm so excited because now this is getting into like the next gear of build. This is going to be like, these matches are now getting made and these are the matches we're going to build to. I think probably from next week onwards, that's when we're going to see like, this match is now official. And we're going to build this now. Because now we're still in the speculation phase right now. But I think as of next week, it's going to be proper. War Games is soon. Here's the matches. Get excited. And I can't wait. I'm so excited.
I love these periods of time in NXT where it's like we're actually like a month out from TakeOver and the story starts to advance. This is when you get all the best promo stuff. It's when you get all the sort of really cool story aspect. And also now because they've got the extra hour, there can still be an hour's worth of amazing wrestling per show.
Exactly.
What more do you want?
Exactly. What a great show. But that is all we've got time for on this week's review of NXT. Leave us a comment letting us know what you thought of the show. We both rated it a 5 out of 5. And please press the videos that have just appeared on the desk to catch up with the latest WrestleTalk things. I've been Quinnell. This is Fakidor Laurie Blake. And that was Rambling.